Hey guys, welcome back to Honeycomb. My name is Kayo and we're back here in Honeycomb to talk a bit more about Oleo Saccharum and homemade cocktails, specifically how to use the syrups that you've already made. And I say already made because we just made a video in case you missed it, and the link should be up here and down in the description down below for how to make your own coffee and cocktail syrups. So specifically, we made a lemon Oleo Saccharum, which is a lemon oil syrup. And today I thought I would show you 3 different recipes, coffee and cocktail, on how to use these syrups, how you can use them for very basic drinks, and then one kind of signature cocktail variation that you might want to try. If you missed the last video, make sure you watch that one. If you've seen it or you have Oleo Saccharum ready to go, then let's get started. Our first drink is going to be a coffee-based drink. For that, we've gone ahead and made cold brew. Our cold brew is made at the 9:1 ratio and then bed filtered. If you guys are interested in how to make cold brew like this one, leave a comment down below and let us know, or click the thumbs up button. If you do that, we'll take that as a sign that we should do a how to make great cold brew video. Our cold brew in Honeycomb is actually made out of espresso grounds. We end up with a different mouthfeel from other cold brew coffees, and that's what we have today. It's more or less a cold brew concentrate. Next, we are going to need our Oleo Saccharum. So we have this Oleo Saccharum that we made in our previous video. We're going to be using this. And then last, we're going to use a little bit of tonic water. Now you don't have to use the tonic water. You can use regular water or a little bit of the cold brew. But since we're going to be using this tonic water later on, we've decided to use it just to show you that this can be done. The bubbles inside of the tonic water help agitate and activate the Oleo Saccharum a little bit more, and the bitters add a little bit of texture to our beverage. For today, we're using this. This is the Fever Tree Premium Indian Tonic Water, and you can get this almost anywhere in the world. It's one of my favorite kind of base tonic waters for gin and tonics. Now, with all of our recipes, one of the most important things to remember about your Oleo Saccharum is that it is not the same as simple syrup. Simple syrup is 1 part water to 1 part sugar. Oleo Saccharum is essentially just the 1 part sugar. It's almost entirely sugar. So it'll be doubly as sweet as your regular simple syrup, which means you should only be using about half the value. All right, so let's get started. We'll open up our tonic. And the first thing we're going to put into the glass is actually our Oleo Saccharum. 10 ml of Oleo Saccharum, that's just the right amount. Now we're going to put in about 28 ml of tonic water. Now we're going to give that a little stir to activate our Oleo Saccharum and dilute it into our tonic water. All right, now that we have that diluted, we're going to put in our ice, and we're going to put in enough ice to reach the top of our cup, like that. And then finally, we're going to put in our cold brew up until it's filled. And that's it. This is our clean black Oleo Saccharum cold brew. Now you can serve it like this, and you can see the nice layering in the drink. Customers like that, and then you can enjoy it, take some nice pictures, and then give it a stir. You can also serve it with a garnish of the candied lemon that we made as a byproduct of our Oleo Saccharum process. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to take a candied lemon peel and just lay it over the top like so. Let's give it a taste before we drink. We're going to give it a little stir to integrate our lemon back up into the drink. Really nice, sweet. The lemon is present. The aroma is there as you're drinking the coffee, and it makes for a nice, refreshing summer drink. I highly recommend this. This is a great cold brew beverage. You can actually do it with fresh lemon, but the sweetness from the Oleo Saccharum really makes this a nice afternoon summer treat. Cheers. I kind of want to drink the whole thing. All right, for our second drink, we're going to make a lemon gin and tonic. I've heard this called a bunch of different things. Some people have called it the lemon head, but there are many drinks named lemon head. Some people have called it like a lemon fizz, but it's not exactly a fizz. So I don't know, maybe you guys have ideas for a better name for this. If you do, leave it in the comments down below. But what we're gonna make now is our lemon gin and tonic. So I wanna give a shout out to Ricky, the bartender who taught me how to do this. I'm gonna turn my scale and we're gonna put about 15 ml of Oleo Saccharum into our drink. We want this gin and tonic to be very, very sweet. It should be a treat at the end of the day. All right, so that's 14 ml, so 14 to 15 ml of Oleo Saccharum. All right, so our next ingredient is that we're going to use our gin. We're going to put in our gin. And for this, we're going to be using our Santa Ana gin, which is one of my favorite gins. It's a fresh one that we just started using from last year. As you can see, the bottle is well used. And we're going to put in the long side of this jigger. This is a short jigger. So it's going to be about 30 ml of our Santa Ana gin. Lovely aroma from the Santa Ana gin. So if you guys aren't familiar, this is a gin that uses botanicals that are kind of uniquely Filipino. They have like some dalandan, some ilang-ilang in here, calamansi. There's one more, alpina, and the botanicals for that Santa Ana gin. All right, so we have the gin and the Oleo Saccharum in together, and we're just going to give it a quick stir to integrate them together. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to stuff this with a bunch of candied lemon peels. All right, so we want a lot in there, and we're going to try and get them down under the ice. All right, our last step is that we're going to put in our tonic water. This is a long drink, so we're putting 100 ml of tonic water, and that's it. That's our lemon gin and tonic. You can see how beautifully the lemon plays off of the clarity of the drink. And then you see that down towards the bottom, it gets a little bit more lemon. So as you're drinking this gin and tonic, it's going to be gin and tonic with an aroma of lemon at the top. And as you get to the bottom, the weight of that Oleo Saccharum will keep the flavor at the bottom with a nice kind of dessert finish, a little drop of candy right at the end of your drink. How's it taste? Let's find out. Right away, the tonic water is just carrying the lemon up to enjoy the scent. That is delicious. So this is a wonderful twist on a classic, a very straightforward gin and tonic with one extra ingredient. Now, it is important to have a beautiful gin. You can use any gin, but something that has a little bit more nuance to it, like the Santa Ana gin, works perfectly for this drink. For our third drink, we're going to do a variation on an old-fashioned. It's a drink that I designed, and it's a honey lemon drink. The first thing that comes to my mind when I think about honey lemon is actually honey lemon Hall's candy, hard candy. So the nickname that I gave this is the Hall's Pass. The reason why I'm calling it the Hall's Pass is because one, it has the flavor of honey lemon, which is reminiscent of Hall's hard candy, but also the idea of the Hall Pass in culture is that it's cheating, but it's not really cheating, but it really is cheating. So like an old fashioned is supposed to be like a pretty serious drink. And we're gonna cheat in two ways. One is that it's not going to be a very serious drink. It's gonna be a fun, sweet drink, but we're also cheating because we're not actually going to use actual bourbon or whiskey. Instead, we're going to use Wild Turkey American honey, which is actually a honey liqueur. So if you're unfamiliar with honey liqueur, it uses a whiskey base and they blend it with honey instead of water. So usually all bourbon starts out exceptionally concentrated, and then they add spring water usually to get it down to the correct ABV. So in this drink, what they do is they use some spring water and they use some honey. And when you're done, you end up with a 35.5 alcohol by volume. because of that slightly lower ABV, it's not a bourbon anymore, or you can't really call it a bourbon, and it doesn't match the description of a bourbon. It's a bourbon-based honey liqueur. But Wild Turkey is a pretty good, very solid bourbon. So what we end up with is, this is basically jumping a few steps forward and having a bourbon that already has a honey flavor. The nice thing about this is that it's also relatively inexpensive. I think that this bottle costs us something like 200 something pesos in SNR, $5. It's a steal. So aside from our Wild Turkey American honey, we're going to be using Angostura bitters, which is the standard bitters that we use for almost all of our old fashions. And we're going to be using our atomizer today. It helps us get a little bit more accurate with our dashes. And then finally, instead of simple syrup, we're going to be using our Oleo Saccharum, and we're going to be using just a little bit of it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put in our Angostura bitters. We put in 4 ml, and we're actually going to build this before we put in our ice. So we're going to put in our Oleo Saccharum. Okay, we put in just a little bit. That's about 7 to 8 ml of Oleo Saccharum. And then finally, we're going to put in our American honey made by Wild Turkey. And this is going to be a full pour. And that's 60 ml. Now, before I put in the ice, because the Oleo Saccharum is so thick, I'm going to give it a stir ahead. Okay, so we put a lot of ice in there. Now we're just going to build it up and give it a stir. We're looking for about 20-25% dilution, or in terms of chill factor, until you can feel the outside of your mixing glass become icy cold. Serve this out. So that's beautiful. And we can finish this off with another garnish of a candied lemon peel. We're going to stick it through the side. And that's it. That is our Hall's Pass. Cheers. Sweet, just the right amount of bitters, just the right amount of lemon. It's still an old fashioned, but it has a lovely lemon and sweetness angle to it. And because it has that 5% less alcohol, it's not so in your face, but it's still very much still a bourbon old fashioned. So those are 3 drinks that you can do with your Oleo Saccharum. We had our cold brew, we had our gin and tonic, and now we have our Hall's Pass, a twist on the classic old fashioned. Something a little bit fun that you can do with your syrups, because that's the point. All of this is supposed to be fun. Have you tried any of these recipes? Are you going to try them out? Let me know what happens after you try them, or if you have any other recipes that are great with Oleo Saccharum. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your comments. Leave them down below. My name is Kayo. Follow along on Instagram. Send me a DM. I'm at Kayo Kosha on Instagram. Follow at Daily Drink Mag, and follow at Honeycomb Manila. This place here, our studio in Double Dragon Plaza. All right, I wish you guys good luck. I wish you guys good health. I wish you guys some great drinks, some great coffee. Peace.